What's going on, everybody? I'm Blaze Lowry with Loud Media, and this is how I upgraded to an FX6 as a sports videographer in less than 1 year. Before I get started, I kind of just want to talk about how gear really isn't everything. You know, my A7C was great. It's still my B cam right now. I think it's an awesome camera, and I was just already being held back by a few different things when getting creative with my shots. If that happens within a year, that's the last thing you want to happen when you're trying to make content. Also, when I bought my A7C, I didn't necessarily have the most money in the bank, AKA I maxed out my credit card in order to buy that camera and the lens. This is not a financial channel by any stretch. Do not do that. But it turned out to be a really great investment for myself. Anyways, that's besides the point. As time goes on, you get better at editing and such. And then you start to realize, once you get into all the color science, once you get into all the, cropping and resizing and all of the, transitions, blah, 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 blah. You want better quality video. I think you'd rather look at something and say, like, I'm proud of this work. And, I look back to my first video I ever made with the A7C, and I hardly even understood how to even shoot a video on that thing. You had to use a separate button from the one that you use to take pictures. Like, that's wild, way above my head at one point, not even a year ago. And to say that I'm already using this, you just learn so fast, especially if you just get your hands dirty. Like, I was shooting at least 5 times a week this whole past year. It feels like if I wasn't shooting, I was figuring out when or where I was going to shoot next. And if I didn't have anything on the slate, we were making something. We were coming up with ideas constantly. But yeah, I think you should always be figuring out when and where to shoot, or here you better be editing, because there's no way you're going to get better at things. I decided I needed a camera in general when I was at Nationals with an iPhone and a gimbal that you magnetize it to. And this guy next to me, who is my friend now, he looked over at me and was like, you don't need that thing, right? And I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, that stabilizer, the iPhone has built-in stabilization. You don't need a gimbal for your iPhone. You're not doing any flashy movements. You're just sitting here recording a match. And I was like, you're right. What am I doing? But from that day forward, I decided I will never be talked to like that ever again when it comes down to camera gear. So that's why I tried to buy the biggest and baddest camera ever. And that's not always the perfect camera for you, by the way, just to point that out. But this thing, when you walk into a room with an FX6, people take you seriously. I love that, because when I walked in with the tiny little A7C, although it is compact and portable and awesome, and I think it produces really great images, people aren't taking me as serious as when I come in with this big ass thing and a top handle. Even when I had the A7C rigged out, I just felt like I wasn't getting the respect I needed. I looked like a small time creator. And even the people at the media tables, when they see this thing, they're like, wow, is that yours? And I'm like, yeah, I bought the damn thing because I invested in myself. And that kind of goes into the whole learning thing. It's you learn sales and marketing as you go on, and you don't want to be taking those jobs that are I don't know, $25 a pop, or you're doing free work just to have work. Why would you ever want to do free work when you paid all this money for a camera? I want to produce really cool content for guys, and I want to produce something that I wish I would have had the opportunity to have when I was in school. The decision to buy the FX6 was a decision that I kind of made on a whim, to be honest. So I was looking at FX3s. I had the money saved up for when I went and shot at Fargo. I was looking at FX3s. I still like the small form factor. I really didn't need the FX6. I don't necessarily need built-in ND filters, and that's what everyone raves about this camera. I do indoor sports. That's what I specialize in. Now, don't get me wrong, I've done other sports. I shot football yesterday, I've done a lacrosse game, whatever, but those are little one-off things. I am most of the time indoors, which I love. I love the indoors. I don't like outside. I saw this camera go up after I tried to buy an FX3 online off Facebook Marketplace. I saw this one on Facebook Marketplace as well, and I almost got scammed trying to buy that FX3, and this guy was legit. This thing, when I got it, when I tell you it was brand new, it was brand new. There was nothing wrong with this thing. I understood that if I wanted to sell to a certain person, right? Who is my target demographic? So my target demographic really is the parents of these kids, but who is asking these parents to buy their kid video? It's the kids. So make really sick videos, right? Really sick sports hype mini reels, right? From 15 to 45 seconds of these kids, and plug it into a package, little Apple pricing strategy action, and sell it that way and market it as a wrestling brand. So I created the Team Indiana Wrestling page, and when I created that page, it blew up because number one, everybody in Indiana that wrestles wanted to be on that page. They wanted to follow what was going on that page because they want to understand what's happening in their state. And number two, it's wrestling in general. When wrestlers see a wrestling page, they want to follow it. It's such a niche thing. I'm sure it's like that for other niche sports. Like when you get into the big sports and stuff, there isn't those niche accounts that are really making stuff like that. Just understanding how to monetize and market your product makes everything 10 times easier to go out and buy a camera like the FX6. And that's how I upgraded all the way to the FX6 in less than a year as a sports videographer. I forgot to mention, you guys want to see my full FX6 rig? Just hit a comment down in the comment section, or I guess just shoot me a DM or something. Peace and love, like and subscribe.